In this video, we're going to go over the different types of needles used for sewing machines. In our class, we mostly use the universal, which is the top one right here, but we'll talk a little bit about some of these different ones and about the build of the machine needle. So let's start with the different tips. We have our universal tip right here. For the most part, they're going to have the same build here, but they'll have different tips, and that's what really makes them different. The universal needle is pretty standard. It's what we use on our machines, and it's what comes on most machines. It's just your catch-all, works for pretty much everything, universal needle. And so it's pretty sharp, but not super sharp. You can see it's kind of just in the middle, right? So it's pretty standard, works well for most things. Then we have our Jersey ballpoint needle, which is similar to the stretch needle. A lot of times they kind of go together. People will say like them interchangeably, but you can see that they're a little bit more round here. And the reason they're rounder is because they're used for stretchier fabrics, and most of the time when a fabric is stretchy, it's because it's a knit, and that knit uses the same yarn for the whole thing. It's just like looping itself over and over. So you don't want to break that knit yarn because it'll kind of mess up with the looping because it's all one thing. So instead of cutting through the yarns, it's going to actually just separate them. So that's why it's rounded. It just separates those yarns so that it stretches better and it doesn't tear the fabric or anything like that. So that's our Jersey ballpoint and stretch needles. Then we have our jeans or denim ones, which you can see it's used for, you can guess is used for jeans or denim, and it's a little bit sharper and thicker just because denim and jeans is a thicker material, and it needs something a little bit stronger and sharper to go through it. The Microtex / Sharp one is going to be used mostly for fine woven fabric, so things that are woven out of really, really fine little yarns or threads, and it just helps make it look really, really neat. So it's going to just pierce right through those, so it makes it really crisp and neat, and because it's woven, it doesn't matter that it breaks through those threads, whereas it does with a knit, which is why you would use Jersey or stretch needles. The leather one is a little bit different, and it's used for leather, as you can guess, and then self-threading has this little side piece. I can't go all the way down, but you can see it kind of opens up, and that's because you can just actually slide the thread right in there. It's nice because it threads itself a lot easier, but it also can come out. So pros and cons to that. As far as the makeup of the needle, you can kind of see everything right here. The main thing I want you to see is that the top is a little bit thicker, and there's a flat side on the back, and that goes to the back of the machine when you put it in the machine. So when you unscrew it you unscrew your old one and you put your new one in, your new needle, and this flat side should be to the back, and then you screw it in. And this thick part is our shank here, and then there's the shaft. There's the eye of the needle and the point of the needle, and the point is different for each of these different kinds. So again, universal, the main ones you want to know are universal, ballpoint / stretch, which are pretty interchangeable, and then sharp.